welcome to the Hello World podcast. Today, I'm here talking about the past 3 podcast interviews and discussing some things that we can take away from my last 3 conversation interviews with international students. If you don't already know, this is a part of a project that I am conducting at the University of Alabama to learn more about international students at the university and to see how we can better love and care for and welcome our international friends. Let's dive into some of the questions that we discussed previously and some of the more common answers. One of the first questions that I like to ask my friends is, what is something that you have enjoyed at the University of Alabama? And again, I kept hearing that people enjoyed just getting to meet all sorts of people. They love just meeting other international students, and we have a joke that at the University of Alabama there is a club for everything, which is actually so true. And a lot of my friends who are international students have found things that they love, like a candle making club, a book making club, a pottery club, a political club, any sort of club, to just invest in some hobby that maybe they haven't taken the time to do before. Or a lot of my friends also have discussed they just like hanging out with other international students, people who are like them, who are from a different country and a different home culture and speak a different first language, but they're coming to the U.S. to study English and also just to get an education in the United States of America. So it's really beautiful that not only do our international students enjoy meeting other international students, but when we get to have like gatherings of international students, it really just feels like such a big family. And I know that from my own personal experience, but it was really fun to hear that from my friends who are personally international students. So after that, I also asked my friends, what is something that maybe you didn't like or don't like about life at UA? Now, that's an interesting question, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. But again and again, I kept hearing that people are finding it a little bit difficult to use the transportation here. I found that we are incredibly privileged to all have cars as like sophomores, juniors, and seniors at the university, and some freshmen too. But not everyone has a car, and especially for international students or people who travel from far away, traveling and transportation around the University of Alabama has been a little bit of an issue. So that's definitely something that we could work on, whether it's just like taking friends to the grocery store when they need groceries, or just making sure that they know we always are willing and able to take them places if they need a ride. So if you're ever going to the grocery store, think about asking your international friends, like, do you need a ride? Because sometimes they just need a ride and don't really want to ask you again. So to all my local student listening, I would just recommend that you try to help people out, especially your international friends on campus who don't have cars. Just try to help them out and see if they need a ride. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting take on something that's been difficult about life at UA. And then one thing that I really enjoyed was talking to Nahomi and Kamajai and Miho about their experience with the student body at UA. They said that a lot of people who are local students don't feel like they can approach international students, and they feel sort of separated from international students. And my friends find this very interesting because it's almost like they're different people and they're just a different group of people, and the local students don't feel like they should, could, or know how to talk to them. So from my own personal experience, I know it can be a little bit scary to go try to walk up to someone you've never met before and strike up a conversation, especially if you're not sure how well they speak English. However, I would just say, after talking to Miho and Kamajai and Nahomi, I would just recommend that if you're a listener and you are a local student, just go up to someone and strike up a conversation. You can say, hey, I love your outfit. What's your name? or take the advice of, I can't remember, it was either Mihal or Nahomi, but one of them said, just ask, like, what do you like about your hometown? That's a super general question. And if you're not sure if they're an international student or not, the question still works. So that's such a great question to ask if you just want to kind of start a conversation. But in addition to that, we also have all sorts of resources, and you can find these on the UA website, or I can link some resources in the bio so that you can just click on them if you're interested in joining international student groups. But I can go ahead and tell you that on Fridays around like 11 to 1 or something at the UA Student Center, we have a group called something along the lines of International Coffee Hour. And I would highly recommend that you go if you are a local student and you're interested in just learning about other cultures through talking to people. It's absolutely wonderful to learn so many things through friends. I think it's one of the best ways to learn. And finally, just a piece of advice that they would give to international students who are interested in coming. I remember one of my friends said that it's going to be hard, but you can do it. That is so true. It's not going to be perfectly easy. There are going to be things that you don't expect. I have never been an international student, but I have a lot of friends who are, and they say it's definitely not what you expect moving to America, but there are a lot of beautiful things and a lot of hard things, and the hard things make the beautiful things even more beautiful. So if you're interested in coming to being a student at the University of Alabama, I would just recommend give it a try. I think it's definitely worth coming just to experience a new culture and practice your English. And if you live in a country where you don't get to speak English a lot, it's definitely an unforgettable experience, and you will learn so much. Anyway, and that's a wrap up on this semester's Hello World. I hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for our next season coming up this spring.